Hey everyone, so this is the first video on my channel. So I'm Baptiste. I used to work at Hugging Face on the research team. So there I worked on training agent. And now I've actually quit my job and building my own startup. So the idea is really for this channel to be like a build in public and like a behind the scene of what I do on a day-to-day basis, what I think is cool and what I figure out while building like AI agent because it's such a cool and new thing. So today I wanted to talk about the fact that I completely shot myself in the foot and underestimated the AI pricing. So at Hugging Face, I didn't have any cap on really like pricing and how much it costs to run an experiment. But now I have actually need to think about user in productions, and then I realize, okay, the math isn't adding up. So what I'm currently building is so it's super inspired by CloudBot now, Molebot, and I will delve more into like the difference, but right now it's super similar at today's stage. So it's an AI agent that you can access from anywhere that has a lot of integration. I mean, now there is a few, but the goal is for you to be able to connect your calendar, your all the tools that you use, and then being able to do actions. So like, what's my latest email? And then you will have the agent going and searching for that. And then this can be even like uh, more complete with a lot of different workflows. So for example, oh, look at my linear, text somebody on Slack on my team, and then add and then create a report that you send to Google Drive or sorry, to maybe GitHub with all the different instructions. So the goal is really to create an agentic platform, and now it's super early. So what I did is you look for like an R nest, and so what I looked at was the two big labs, OpenAI and Anthropics. And I really like the Agent SDK. It seems to be a bit more used in production. I also thought the documentation was better and a bit more advanced. So I went for that. So what it does, it's simply it's a simple harness that will call the LLM with different tool calls. So maybe you have seen like Claude Code, and so this will in my app, for example, it will call a tool. Right now it's a CLI tool, but I'm refactoring that to skills. They will call like a Gmail tool to list your emails and so on. And this is simply that. It's a loop, and then you add a lot of stuff. And this is built by Anthropic, so it's really good on Claude models, and then the same for OpenAI and ChatGPT. So then I started to use that. And I thought, okay, that works really well. I really love it. And then I start to look at my pricing, and then I realized I shot myself in the foot. So this is a pricing of just me. So it's not even real users today. And I've spent like $16 on API cost. On one day, for example, I spent like €6 of just like trying my small experiments, small workflows, and so on. And I realized, okay, there is no way for me to absorb those costs, to pass them on customers, and so on. So actually, what I've decided to do is really to look at OpenCode, which is such a lovely product, into how they do it and how I can use them. Because if you look at, for example, this tweet, or even have this tweet, of they say there is like a 5x ROI difference between like your API pricing compared to the pricing you get if you have like a Claude Code subscription, or the same with like your ChatGPT subscription. The API pricing is just a lot more expensive. So those VCs are really funding OpenAI and Claude. So I'm trying to benefit from that and align. And I also don't want like users to have like a different subscription, because um, that seems like quite quite a high cost for them. So ideally, if I can use a subscription, that would be amazing. And here is like even like 30 times cheaper. So what they do is at OpenCode is you can link your different subscriptions. So what they do also that's really cool compared to Agent SDK is they have kind of this SDK server. So this is quite a bit less well known about OpenCode, but they actually provide like a whole platform to build upon. I think they don't advertise it as well as, I mean, it's not their main focus as Anthropics and OpenAI, but it gives them, it's super flexible. And because it's open source and so on, I actually have like my Claude Code agent that actually look at OpenCode and how they do things. And this inform a lot of my decision because those guys are super smart and they spend a lot of time thinking about those designs. So if I can steal a bit of things to help me, that would be great. So what they do is they have this SDK. So this run on my server. And then I also use, because I just know E2B, I use E2B, which is a sandbox provider. So you want this kind of AI loop to run in a server. And right now, so then it's running in a cloud server anywhere in AWS. And this is where my AI loop and my harness is actually running. And so what's cool that you don't have with Agent SDKs, you have this difference between like the SDK, so the client, maybe client would be a better word, and the server. So on my server, my own, so it's actually called Heybap. I didn't even introduce the name. On Heybap, on BAP, it's running just the client. And this is fully typed, and then it communicates with the server in like a two-way communication. And this is running on my E2B sandbox. And what's really cool is then I can rely on them because they have like providers. And so you can use ChatGPT subscription, you can use your Gemini subscription. Right now, Claude Code, they blocked OpenCode, so that was like a big story on Hacker News and so on. So I'm thinking that Claude Code is probably going to reverse the decision, because if OpenAI really push from like we forward, we accept all harness, I think they will have to cave. And if there's a big push from like the ecosystem to make it more open and that you can use your Claude Code subscription with any products, then that would be great for the whole ecosystem. And then what's funny is I also looked at CloudBot because it's just a great project. And then what they use is they use PyMono, which is like a super small repo, which introduces a harness, but it's like really a bare bone harness, and then you can build on top of it. So I think this is a great also project, but I think OpenCode, it's a much larger, so just in terms of like contributor, in terms of stars, it's a much bigger project. And I'm thinking in the long term, they would just probably be able to keep up and iterate. So that's why I based everything onto OpenCode compared to the PyMono, which is really nice because it's more bare bone. I think you don't have all this fluff that I don't necessarily need in OpenCode, but they did a great job. I delved into the code into really like having this kind of server that doesn't spin up everything, because they also have like a terminal interface UI, so and so on. And then I don't really need all of those things. I just need the SDK and the server. So that's a bit how I solved the problem of just spending a lot on usage. So now users can simply connect their own subscription, and then I'm using this to for them to, they already have probably a subscription, and then it's running my own agent on top of that. So thank you very much for listening. So I hope this was helpful. So the goal is really for me to like build in public and explain what I do, what I think is really interesting in the agent space, how to build like an agentic loop, what are like the pros and cons of different techniques. So I just want to discuss a bit what's cool in the space, and hopefully you find anything interesting.